was a time. It wasn't a fun one, but it was a time. It's kind of good-ish. Has naturally blue hair. And like, I'd love a little more depth to anything that's happening. God, I don't even know. You've done some extremely horrible things. I don't even know what to say. Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a returning viewer. I'm Maisie, and this is Maisie with a Z, and today we're going to be starting a reading vlog where I'm going to be reading early 2010s YA books for an entire week. We'll see how this goes. So the idea for this reading vlog basically came from I've had some books from this general period of YA on my TBR for absolute ages, and I need some like impetus to actually read them. So I decided to make a reading vlog about it because that makes sense. So yes, there are 3 books I'll definitely be trying to get to in this reading vlog, plus a bonus 4th one, which really depends on if my hold for it gets in off Libby or not. I do own all these books, except 3 of them are at home and I'm currently at college, so I'm getting them off Libby. So the first book on this TBR is Daughter Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I also talked about all 4 of these books briefly in my February TBR if you want to go watch that video. This book, I know it takes place in Prague. It follows our main character who's an art student who does all sorts of weird otherworldly errand things for people, generally very strange. And she gets caught up in this kind of otherworldly conflict when a guy who I think has wings shows up. I don't know. It sounds very early 2010s YA. We'll see how it goes. I genuinely don't know that much about the plot, which is weird considering how long it's been in like the YA landscape. It was first published in 2011, so it's 13 years old now, and I'm gonna finally read it. So we'll see how that goes. It's definitely been on my TBR for like at least 7 or 8 years. Like, it's been a long time, which I partially blame on how ugly the cover is. They have much prettier covers now, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. I did enjoy the first 2 books I read by Laini Taylor, which were her Strange the Dreamer duology. So like, I have hope. Not that much hope, but I do have some hope. And then we've got An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I think this series just finished in like 2020, 2021 or something. But I know it involves some sort of military school. It takes place in this very brutal empire. And our main girl is a spy, I think, in the military academy. So she agrees to spy in the military academy in exchange for getting help for her brother, who's been arrested, I think. And then her love interest is a soldier who's kind of beginning to question the tyranny of the empire. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be groundbreaking, but it's probably going to be good. I've heard nothing but good things about this series, so I'm not that concerned. Like, I'd say of the books on this list, it's definitely one I'm most hopeful that I'll end up loving. And then we have The Wrath and the Dawn by Reni Adier. This is inspired by 1001 Nights. It's basically the caliph of the country. He takes a new bride every night, and every morning she wakes up dead. Our main character volunteers to be the next bride after her best friend is one of the brides who was killed. She basically tells stories every night to keep herself alive. They end up falling for each other, which I find a little sketchy given that he was at least partially involved in the murder of her best friend and a lot of other women. But we'll find out. Maybe he had a good reason. I don't know. I love a good enemies to lovers. This feels like it's getting more into the extremely morally questionable love interest realm that we're just supposed to be like, yeah, that's fine. We'll see. That's the theme of this, is we'll see. And this is also from 2015. So this and Ember in the Ashes are about like 9 years old. They're definitely both from this like realm of YA. And then the final book on this TBR, which I might not get to. It depends on whether my Libby hold comes in and also how much progress I make on these books, because like, let's face it, I'm a college student. I got stuff to do. Finals are in 2 weeks. God. Love the quarter system, everyone. It's great. It's not at all soul-crushing. But yes, if I do have the chance to read it, then the last book on this TBR will be In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken, which is the 3rd book in the Darkest Minds trilogy. The first 2 books were not good, but I own all the books, so I'm going to read it. This trilogy is very much not my vibe, but I started reading it with someone I used to be friends with. Now, even though we're not friends, I'm like, I did start the series. I feel like I should finish it, if only because I own the books. And they don't take that long to read. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get to this in this vlog, because if I don't get to it in this themed vlog, there's a very decent chance I will never actually read it. Like, this is really being, like, made or broken by whether the Libby hold comes in on time or not. So, yeah, those are my plans for the vlog. I have to go do homework now, so I won't start until like later this afternoon, but I'll let you guys know when I have an update. And yeah, super excited, interested in finding out how these books go. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey y'all, so I thought I'd give a quick reading update where I'm currently 21% of the way through The Wrath of the Dawn. I'm enjoying it. It's, I don't know, not much has happened, and the plot feels a little overly simplistic, and like I'd love a little more depth to anything that's happening, but I do like our main character so far. I am enjoying it. The writing's also a little choppy where like it'll jump from our main character's POV to like a side character for like, I don't know, like a couple page chapter and then jump back to the main character. It feels a little choppy and poorly written, I'm gonna be honest. Or like not poorly written, but like not super well written. But it's still enjoyable. I'm still having a good time. It's just not the absolute best thing I've ever read so far. I'm 21% through and I am enjoying it. Yeah, we'll see how long it takes to finish it. I might try and finish it today. It kind of depends on... I need to check what I need to do today. I just filmed my reading wrap up, so I can check that off. I have to do some work for a literary journal I work on. I also have to do some final project work for some of my classes, but I'm hoping maybe this evening I can just sit down and maybe finish it. I think my Kindle says I have 2.5 hours left in it, so I can probably finish it tonight. I might try and do that. Like, I think that would make me feel very accomplished, but we'll see. Yeah, that's my reading update for right now, and I'll get back to y'all later. Reading update. It's been a hot minute since I've updated you. Like, it's been a solid 2-3 days, which is mostly just because I was mostly reading the books in short little spurts at like lunch and dinner and such. But I finished reading The Wrath of the Dawn. It was... God, I don't even know. It was fine. I never really got on board with the love interest. I thought our main character fell way too hard for him before getting an explanation for why he was killing all the wives. Like, I did really like our main character, and I liked the love interest more once we got an explanation. Although even then, he still came off not great in that. I don't know. I get aired a bit too close to the forgiving someone who has murdered 60-something wives of his. Like, it fell way too into the morally gray side of morally gray love interest that I like, you know? Because it wasn't even morally gray anymore. It was just, you've done some extremely horrible things, but at least you kind of have an explanation. There's also some things about it that really frustrated me in a way I can't talk about in a spoiler-free way. So, because it was a frustrating book. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think. I'm still going to read the second book, but I wasn't a super huge fan of The Wrath of the Dawn. And then I'm currently 25% of the way through Daughter Smoke and Bone. And again, it's like, it's kind of good-ish. Actually, no. This is shaping up to be worse than The Wrath of the Dawn, because at least The Wrath of the Dawn, I liked our protagonist, except for when she was falling for horrible people. Alright, sorry. When she was falling for someone she thought was a horrible person. And here, it's just, it's very early 2010s YA, where our main character is hardcore, not like the other girls, has naturally blue hair, everyone basically worships her. Like, everyone thinks she's the coolest person ever, blah, blah, blah. It's a really weird experience because I don't know if I've read anything exactly like this since, you know, the early 2010s. So yeah, such a Mary Sue character. And then I kind of like the world that's being established. I say kind of like because it hasn't been established with a lot of clarity. I do really want to know what's actually happening. Like, I'm excited to get to the later half of the book because I want to know more of what's going on, where it did take a long time to get any real explanation for who the main character was, and we still don't know that much about her. So yeah, 25% through. The plot's actually starting to happen now, so that's good. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But I worry knowing this is a trilogy and it's already kind of grating on me. But we'll find out. And those are all the updates I have for you. I might try and finish Daughter Smoke and Bone today. I don't know how realistic that is. I don't have anything that's due in the next few days because it's almost the weekend. So I might try and finish Daughter Smoke and Bone today and then read Ember in the Ashes over the weekend. But we'll see. I'll let you know. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, so it's the next morning. I'm 78% of the way through Daughter Smoke and Bone. I like it more than I did at 25% of the way through. My issue is so much of this is just setting up for like what I'm assuming is the plot of the trilogy. That there's not much satisfying going on plot-wise in this book. It's just kind of set up and like world building and whatever, and it makes it very hard to enjoy the book. Like, it's just a lot of setup. It's becoming apparent that nothing much is going to happen at the end of this book. And if it does, I will be surprised. My other big issue with it is the main conflict of the book is the main character not knowing who or what she is. The entire conflict of the book is based around that. It's just building up to it. And because it spends 70% of the book building up to it, we already kind of have a good idea of what she is by the time we get to the like big reveal. And now the big reveal has happened. And it's like quite a few chapters of flashbacks to fully explain what happened in the extreme, like in the past. And God, I don't know. It's just such a weird narrative structure. I don't even know what to do with it. So yeah, I am, as I said, 78% of the way through the book. My Kindle says I have an hour left of reading, or alternatively, there's 2 hours and 42 minutes left on the audiobook, which I listen on double speed, so that'd be an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know how I'm gonna end up finishing it. Yesterday, I kind of switched off between the two, where I was listening to the audiobook while I was crocheting this. It's a little cow. It's my first crochet animal. I'm very proud. He's so cute. So I switched off between the two yesterday because I was listening to the audiobook while I was crocheting and the ebook when I was not crocheting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about where the last 20% of the book is going, and I think whether I continue this trilogy is going to depend a lot on that. But so far, none of my issues so far have been fixed. It's very insta-lovey. Or, I mean, like, the insta-love is kind of a little justified. But the main character is major, not like the other girls. No flaws. Everyone adores her. It's just... And the love interest has, like, no personality. I will hopefully have more complete thoughts once I finish the book, which should be sometime today. And then I will begin reading Ember in the Ashes, which I only have in the physical version. I don't have it on ebook or audiobook, so I won't be reading it at meals and such, so I'm not sure how much of this I will get through. Although it is, like, super, like, there are, like, so few words on the page. Like, this did not need to be such a massive paperback, but it's so floppy. I have high hopes for this. The other two books have been kind of flops so far, but like I have high hopes for Ember in the Ashes. And yeah, in other news, because my Daughter Smoke and Bone ebook got returned on Libby, and I still have the audiobook on Libby, but I will be back to reading Winterkeep on Libby when I only have my phone on me. So I'll also hopefully make some progress on that this vlog, which does not fit in the early to mid 2010s YA fantasy, but it's still YA fantasy. So it just was published in 2021. But because the first two books in this series are definitely early 2010s YA fantasy, then it'll be fine if this gets a little snuck in. But I'm 55% of the way through this, which, I don't know, you can imagine what portion 55% is. And I'm enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it as much as Bitter Blue, I don't think. But I think this second half will probably have a lot of potential. I don't know, I'm really interested to see where this plot goes. But it'll definitely be lower priority compared to the books actually scheduled for this vlog. And yeah, that's about all I have to say to you. I was gonna do some work this morning on readings for my classes. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. And then I need to do some video editing. Yeah, so I'll get back to you when I have updates, and I'll see you later. Well, I just finished Daughter Smoke and Bone. It was a time. I don't even know what to say. Like, the last, 30% of the book or something, literally nothing happened other than fully explaining the backstory that had been hinted at for, the entire book. And there really wasn't much of a plot to this. And it was just... I don't even know what to say. I'm like, it ended, and I was like, oh, that was a way to end it. I didn't like the ending. I don't like the love interest at all. I kind of like our main character, but that's only because she has no flaws. She just exists and is, perfect and everyone loves her. Which isn't super interesting to read about. This is 2.5 or 3 stars. This was not good. I don't know if I'm going to be continuing with the series or not. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very good, and the world building's, not really there. I don't care that much about anything that happened, but at least it's done. I would guess I've owned this book for, 5 years at least. So it's good that it's finally read, but that was really just... that was a thing that I read. It was a time. It wasn't a fun one, but it was a time. The sad thing is I do think the magic system is kind of interesting, but it's just not really explored that much. When the book has nothing else going for it and the magic system's not fleshed out, it's really hard to want to keep reading it, you know? So yeah, that's my update. Ember in the Ashes is next up. I am going to have to strike in the afterlight from this reading vlog because it is, I thought I was going to get it in on Libby this week, but it's apparently not. So this will be our last book in this reading vlog. So I mean, it's 450 pages, but it's double spaced. It's comically few words on a page. So hopefully it doesn't take that long to read. And also hopefully this is better than The Wrath of the Dawn and Daughter Smoke and Bone. The Wrath of the Dawn, I think I'm actually going to give 3 stars. I was originally considering giving it 3.5, but I think it's going to be 3. Daughter Smoke and Bone, I think, is 2.5 stars. It was not good. Oh my god. There was no plot, or there's very limited plot because it's all just set up for the rest of the trilogy, I guess. And I was fine with that because I was going in kind of knowing that a lot of people said it was more of a romance than, plot driven. But then the romance wasn't really there, where it was super insta-lovey, which it kind of self-justifies, but there's no development, and the love interest has no personality. And our main character has a little personality, but because she has no flaws, it's kind of hard to be you're a person. There's so much I can't explain because of spoilers. But yeah, well, this was a time. I don't think I'd recommend Daughter Smoke and Bone. It's possible the second and third books in the trilogies get really good. I will probably look into reviews to find out, but that's my update. I'll get back to you when I have progress on An Ember in the Ashes, and I will see you later. Hey y'all. So, it's the next day. I read the first 54 pages of An Ember in the Ashes last night, and I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely liking it more than the first 2 books from this vlog. I mean, so far it's nothing, amazing. I'm not connecting super much with any of the characters, but I don't know. I'm liking how the characters are being set up, and I think it's going to be good, hopefully. So yeah, I don't know how much... Let me check my Google Calendar. Yeah, I'm not gonna have a ton of time to read today. Hang on, my mom's calling me. Hey y'all, so I'm gonna be honest, I forgot I was filming an update because my mom called and then I was on the phone with her for a bit and then I was about to go out and run an errand. But thought I'd finish up the update. Yes, again, enjoying this so far. I like the characters. It's a vibe. 52 pages or 54 pages in, so things are kind of starting to happen, and Yeah, I'm not super connecting with the story yet, but I'm enjoying it so far in as much as anything has occurred. I don't think I'm gonna have that much time to read today because finals week is rapidly approaching and I have a lot of work I need to do for projects and such. But I will see if I can. I'm at the very least gonna try and fit in like 40 minutes of reading tonight before bed to like at least make some progress. Yeah, I'll see you next time I have an update. In case you're curious, I don't recommend being a college student on the quarter system because you have to have finals 3 times a year instead of only twice, and it's a lot. That's about all I have to say right now, and I'll see you later. Hey all, I don't know if I ever actually finished this vlog, so we're doing it now instead. I did eventually finish An Ember in the Ashes. It was okay. It was fine. It was better than the first 2 books. The issues, I don't care that much about the conflict. I don't fully feel like either the characters is appealing enough for me to really enjoy it. I do think they could get better. I think this was very much setting up for the rest of the series. But I wish there'd been more fantasy. Like, I wish the Jinn and other Middle Eastern folklore creatures that are there had played more of a role. I was expecting a little more of that, where they're kind of just on the sidelines a lot, and it's not really fully dealt with in any way. So, like, I enjoyed it. I just would have loved a little more, and I don't know, I'd love to know if our main character's ever gonna get like any real agency. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably continue with the series, but probably not anytime soon, and I definitely don't think I'm going to be collecting this series. Like, overall, I would say all 3 of the books I read this vlog are getting unhauled. So yeah, to recap the other 2, I read Daughter Smoke and Bone. Did not enjoy it. It was not good. I'll quickly go back to check what actual ratings I gave these books, because I don't remember. To Daughter Smoke and Bone, I gave 2.5 stars. Didn't enjoy it. It was an interesting magic system, but other than that, I didn't like it. I will almost definitely not be continuing with the series. Yeah, not much more to say than that. And then The Wrath and the Dawn, I think, was much better written than Daughter Smoke and Bone, but my issue with it is, like, there's no plot. Like, nothing really happens except for the romance, and even that's not really, it feels very insta-lovey, and it's not really developed in the way I would like. There's also the fact that the romance is absurd, because this man murdered our main girl's best friend, and sure, an explanation is given, but oh my god, how can you really fall, like, it's just so hard to get on board with it. It's like, yeah, sure, it wasn't really your choice, but, like, you just don't have to fall in love with him, you know? I don't. So yeah, overall, this was a reading vlog. Not the most successful reading challenge I've ever done in my life, seeing as I can't really with any honesty say I've fully enjoyed any of the books. But for now, I'm tired, and at least these books are finally off my TBR, because Daughter Smoke and Bone and The Wrath and Dawn were there for a long time. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. Thanks so much for sticking around. This was the time, and yeah, I'll talk to you later.